Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host, Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. This week we're going to be talking about rats, and we'd like to thank Paul Ev for a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts. And if you downloaded our latest ebook, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, Book 6, we'd appreciate if you give us a review.
Only if you liked it.
And if you haven't downloaded it yet, it's only $1. The Smithsonian Magazine says there's fossil evidence of rats that weighed around 11 pounds in Asia 44,000 years ago, and there's evidence that people were catching them and eating them.
Gross.
The last giant rats were about the size of a small dog, and they died off around 1,000 years ago. The two most common types of rats you'll find in the U.S. are the Norwegian rat and the roof rat. The Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife says that the Norway rat originally came from Asia and was thought to have traveled to England on cargo in Norwegian ships, and then from England to the U.S. in the 16 and 1700s. And roof rats get their name because they're good climbers. They'll nest in trees and attics, and they can get into your home if you have trees next to your house.
Crazy.
Norway rats can be 13 to 16 inches long on average, and that's not counting their tail. And they're bigger than roof rats. They have hairless ears and tails. They're usually around 7 to 18 ounces. They can also be called sewer rats or brown rats. Roof rats are usually 5 to 10 inches. They're 5 to 9 ounces. They're going to have smoother fur than Norway rats, thinner, and they have longer tails in relation to their body. And they're also called gray-bellied rats, white-bellied rats, ship rats, or black rats. And the roof rats aren't very good swimmers, so they're usually not found in sewers, where Norway rats are great swimmers, and they do really well in sewers. National Geographic says many rats can tread water for up to 3 days and hold their breath underwater for over 3 minutes.
Wow.
Rats are found almost anywhere you're going to find people except Antarctica. Pet rats can live up to 4 years, and most rats in the wild will only live 2 to 3 years.
What do you mean a pet rat?
So you can buy a rat. I looked up a couple online, and they said $10 to $20. You can get yourself a pet rat.
And what kind of pet is it?
They say if you get them young, they're actually very affectionate, and you can train them almost like a dog.
Why don't you just get a dog?
It doesn't eat as much. And they say you can see emotions on their face.
Well, what's this podcast going to be about?
They say,
having a pet rat or how to kill a pet rat or rats? Yeah. So that nobody wants to hear that they have emotions, JC.
So if you had a pet rat, National Geographic says the average rat can have 10 to 12 babies in a litter and up to 1 litter a month. So one pair of rats could have thousands of descendants in a year.
Wow. Because
the babies can start having babies in a couple of months. So if you're selling them, you could probably do pretty well with that.
$10 to $20 a piece.
There you go. Rats in the wild can carry a variety of disease, and you probably won't get bit by a rat unless you corner one in your home. The problem is disease transmitted from their urine and feces, or getting bit from ticks, mites, or fleas that have fed on the blood from a rat. So in 1924, there was a pneumonic plague outbreak in Los Angeles, and it killed 30 people.
Wow.
And the CDC thinks it was caused by infected rats and fleas. Norway rats will usually dig tunnels and nest underground, and you can find tunnel openings along the side of sidewalks, driveways, patios near your home or in your lawn. In cool or cold climates, they're looking for warmth, so you might find them under wood piles, bushes, or the lower level or basement in your home if they can gain access. Roof rats, they like to climb, so they're going to nest in trees or any secure area like your attic or in between the walls of your home.
Have you ever seen a rat in a tree?
No, that'd be weird, wouldn't it?
Yes. Wonder what the squirrels think. What do they eat?
They're omnivores, and they're not picky eaters. So in the wild, they'll eat seeds, corn, garden vegetables, small fish, mice, birds, reptiles, and bugs. And if they're around people, they're going to eat most things that they find in your garbage. They'll eat pet food if you leave it out, or anything in your pantry if they can get into your home. If you have rats around your home and you feed the birds or squirrels, this gives them an easy source for food, and they're more likely to set up a nest close to this food source.
Mm-hmm.
Scientists found that rats will establish a foraging path for food and water and stay in that area until the food disappears. So if you're feeding pets outside, you should remove the food and water bowls every evening, clean the area very well, and this is going to discourage rats and other animals. And rats need water every day to survive, and they'll drink out of your pet bowls, the water from bowls under potted plants, or any standing water you have around your home.
Okay.
The University of California Pest Management Program says an opening larger than 1/4 of an inch can allow a rat into your home depending on its size. And if a rat can smell food or feel warmth from a small opening in your home, it'll try to chew through wood, plastic, aluminum, vinyl. It can break apart soft or brittle concrete and brick, so it can make this opening bigger so it can get inside. And if it gets into your walls or attic, they can create tunnels in the insulation and make a nest, or they take that insulation out for a nest outside your home. And if rats do get in your walls, they can chew on the insulation around your electrical wires and potentially cause a fire. I read an article from an insurance company, and they said if an adjuster comes out to investigate the cause of a fire and they find it was due to rats and you didn't maintain the outside of your house to prevent rats from getting into your house, they can actually deny a claim.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Rats in your wall, that freaks me out.
Yeah, terrible. Scientists say that rats have a good memory for where they find food and water, so if they get into your home and find food, there's a good chance they're going to keep coming back. They're also constantly urinating and defecating as they search for food, and this will help them establish a foraging route and mark their territory.
And it's super gross.
Yeah. So scientists say that when the rats mark an area with urine, it can leave all kinds of information for other rats, like the identity of the rat, the current stress level, the age, and the social status. Rats can mark areas that are easy to walk on or where something has changed in the area, like if you put down a rat trap. Mm-hmm. And they can also deposit urine with cues for food so other rats can find it. Amazing, huh?
That's kind of crazy. How can you tell if you have a rat in your house?
So you'll see droppings, and they look like dark grains of rice. You'll hear noises, either scratching the walls of your attic. You'll hear chewing as they try to open up holes into your home. They make oily marks along the baseboard or walls because they usually leave an oily residue as they rub up against surfaces. You might find dirt, small hairs, chewed packaging, chewed areas. So they might chew holes in your baseboard or walls as they're looking for material for a nest or trying to create a new nest.
How do you keep them out of your house?
So the CDC says a mouse can squeeze through an opening the size of a nickel, and a rat can go through a hole the size of a $50. So having a yearly routine of inspecting the outside of your home for cracks and gaps and holes, it's going to help prevent rats and other pests from getting in. And you should make sure trees, plants, and other structures are 4 feet away from your roof line. And if you have a fireplace chimney, you should install a mesh spark arrestor so nothing can get in easily. And go into your attic at least once a year on a sunny day. Turn the light off if you have a light up there, and look for any holes or gaps. Check the weather strip on doors all around your home. Make sure they're tight-fitting and they don't have gnaw marks. Then fill any holes or cracks with exterior caulk or expanding foam if they're small. For larger holes or gaps, you want to use a combination of steel wool and either hardware cloth or copper wire mesh or aluminum screening. You want to fill this void with as much steel wool as you can, and then you're going to cover it with something solid, like either metal chicken wire or some type of metal screening. You're going to use spray foam and fill the area behind the wall. So the spray foam is going through the chicken wire, let's say it's going to get into the steel wool and create one solid mass. And it's going to be very difficult for the rat to get through this.
Okay.
If you just use steel wool and caulk, they've seen rats, because this is their foraging path, so they left this trail, they have a good memory, they want back in through this opening. Mm-hmm. So they'll chew through the caulk, they'll grab the steel wool and just pull it out of their way and go right back through the hole. So you really want something that's solid here.
What does this look like, though, on the outside?
Once you use your expanding foam, you're going to let it fully cure, you're going to cut it smooth, and then you're going to prime it and paint it.
Okay.
Or then you can cover it with a very thin coat of caulk and then prime it and paint it.
Would you use a regular expanding foam?
Yeah, I'd use something marked for gaps or big gaps, and that way it's going to expand and fill behind there and make a nice solid mass. Rather than, we talked about gaps around windows and doors, you'd want to use a minimal expanding.
Right.
That way you're not blowing the jam. And some of the top-rated spray foams are from DAP, Red Devil, and Great Stuff. Once any openings are closed, you want to keep everything clean and dry around the outside of your home. If you feed birds and squirrels, you don't want to do it too close to your home, and you want to try to keep the amount of food that you're feeding, the amount that can be eaten every day. And if you're feeding your dog outside, you want to make sure you're picking up the food and water bowls every evening and keep that area clean. If you keep bird food or grass seed in a shed, you want to store them in airtight, sealed containers. And if you
Maybe
have
like a 5-gallon bucket.
5-gallon bucket with one of the twist seal tops are the best. If you have rats in your home and you're in the process of eliminating them with either traps or poison, you want to make sure you disinfect all the surfaces and put all food in airtight containers. You only want to give the rats your bait as a food source. I spoke to Stewart Clark. He's the director of research for Terro, and he also works with Victor. And they've been making traps since 1898 and created the first spring-based mousetrap. Interesting, huh?
So they should be pretty good at it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Stewart says if you think you have a rat problem, look for evidence of gnaw marks and droppings. Mouse droppings are about 1/4 of an inch long and are shaped like brown or dark-colored rice. Roof rat droppings are about 1/2 an inch long, dark in color, and the ends are usually pointed. And the Norway rat droppings are 3/4 of an inch long with rounded ends. So Stewart said, get a camping flashlight with a UV light, and at night turn off all the lights in the house and look for a trail of urine. It's going to glow under this UV light, and this is going to confirm that you have a problem. And this is also going to guide you to the path that they're using to find food and water, and this is going to be where you want to set your traps. Stewart likes the rat snap traps because they're a quick kill, and he suggests using either peanut butter or bacon as the bait. And rats are neophobic.
What does that mean?
So they're scared of anything new in their environment. And because they have a good memory, they're going to avoid a snap trap that's put in their foraging path. So the best way to get good results with a trap is to bait it without setting it for a few days. Because if a rat starts to touch a set trap to see what it is and it snaps, they're going to leave fear-marked urine in that area, and they're going to remember that the trap scared them. So by leaving the trap unset for a few days with bait on it, you're going to confirm that this is the right place to put the trap. Then after the rat takes the bait for a couple of days, you set it, and you're going to have a much better chance of successfully trapping it. When you trap a rat with a snap trap, you want to clean and disinfect the area very well, wear disposable gloves, and put the rat in a Ziploc plastic bag or a plastic bag that you tie off. And I wouldn't reuse a snap trap, but there were a couple of articles that said that the scent of the rat on this trap will attract other rats.
That's gross.
If you don't like snap traps, Victor has covered electronic rat traps, and this uses 4C batteries and can kill up to 50 rats. And they say it's a humane high-voltage shock. And then once the rat is killed, an LED light starts to blink. It also has an alert when the battery's low, and it's covered, so you just have to dump out the rat into the garbage or into a plastic bag, and then you can reuse this. And they also have a Wi-Fi version, so it'll send an alert to your phone when you've trapped a rat. There are glue traps you can use to trap rats, but the problem is it doesn't kill them quickly. So PETA, People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, and the Humane Society International, neither one recommend using glue traps for mice or rats because it causes the animal to suffer a very slow, painful death. And if you find an animal you're trying to trap, like a rat in a glue trap, the way they recommend to humanely kill it is to give it a sharp blow to the head or to the base of the skull.
Ugh, who wants to do that?
Yeah. So glue traps are just not good for the animal or the person having to deal with this. The Humane Society said that many people will drown captured rats on glue traps, and they say it takes about 3 minutes and is a very painful way to die.
Oh, yeah, terrible. What about poison?
The Humane Society says poisons can cause suffering for days or weeks, depending on the chemical or the amount ingested. It can be dangerous to other animals, kids, and pets. And California has restricted most rat poisons. The EPA is now working with companies to phase out chemicals that pose a high risk not only to people, but to wildlife. And the EPA is recommending using sealed bait stations that are pet and kid-proof if you want to use poisons.
Okay.
The rat deterrent's made from peppermint or strong essential oils, and the ultrasonic deterrents can work for a short period of time, most research shows, but it won't keep them out permanently if your home or an opening in your home is part of their foraging path. So they're saying the best results that they've seen is block off access, remove any source of food and water, and then trapping if they won't leave your yard or if they get into your house.
Okay.
Some of the top-rated poisons are from Tomcat, J.T. Eaton, so it's just the letter J, the letter T, and then E-A-T-O-N. Rat X, it's R-A-T and just the letter X. And Decon, it's D-C-O-N. Some top-rated snap traps are from Victor, Tomcat, and J.T. Eaton. And for electronic rat traps, Victor, Rat Zapper, Rodent Terminator, a couple of good names there, and Hoont, H-O-O-N-T.
Do you have anything else to add?
If you plan on using snap traps, wear disposable gloves when you're setting and baiting the traps so there's less scent on the traps. Use peanut butter or bacon and place the trap with the trigger against the wall. So you want it perpendicular to the wall. Rats like to stay against a surface. And don't set the trap till the rat's taken the bait for a few days in a row. Use multiple traps. You're going to have the best success. And when you trap a rat, clean and disinfect the area very well. Make sure you're wearing disposable gloves and put it into a sealed plastic bag.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, CastBox, the Pandora mobile app, or your favorite podcast app.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our books, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, book 1 through 6 on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can follow Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost. And you can also follow us now on Instagram, Fix It Home Improvement.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.